Good afternoon. Welcome to my presentation. My name is Tariku Negash from Università Politecnica del Marche in Ancona, Italy, and I present my research on the experimental characterizations of a foldable solar cooker with a trapezium cooking chamber and adjustable reflectors. I'm excited to share my findings with you today, including the insight and implication they hold for the future solar cookers. These are outline of my presentation. As introduction, according to 2022 report of United Nations Secretary, estimates there are 339 million people all over the world globe who need humanitarian aid, and 103 million people are displaced from their homes. Many of the displacements that take place across the globe occur as a direct result of natural disaster, severe weather events like floods and droughts, conflicts, and war. One of the basic needs for these people is access to instruments for clean cooking. The smoke caused by inefficient stove and fuels may lead to a number of health problems, including illness of the respiratory system. In a certain part of the world, women have to travel hours to procure wood, being subjected to sexual assaults and physical damage. And also children to help their moms gathering firewood or help collect firewood themselves and consequently are not allowed to attend school. Further, the gatherings of wood by refuge can result in deforestation and environmental deterioration and hostilities due to the competition for scarce of resource. In Sub-Saharan Africa, more than 85% of camp residents still use insufficient traditional cooking stove. Consequently, this stove generates around 14.3 million tons of carbon dioxide emission in 2014. Over 3.9 million people die annually from respiratory diseases caused by household air pollution. Approximately 20,000 displaced individuals suffer premature death due to this condition. So, solar-based cooking has enormous potential to feed the need of clean cooking by reducing energy consumption and improving the environment and human health. These are three common types of solar cooker: parabolic, box, and panel cookers. In parabolic cookers, cooking times are similar to traditional stovetop food to be fried and grilled and reaches 120 up to 350 degrees Celsius temperature. However, it requires periodic reorientation, often every 50 minutes. In the box solar cooker, multiple can cook pots simultaneously and bake breads and cakes, and the temperature reaches from 135 degrees Celsius up to 200 degrees Celsius. It's rare to construct a tracking mechanism and cheap to concentrate solar cooker, but expensive than panel solar cookers. In panel solar cookers, mostly constructed as a portable and used to bake breads and cakes. It reaches the temperature around 110 up to 140 degrees Celsius and less requirement for the orientation compared to box and less expensive than others. The use of solar cooker in humanitarian aid poses logistic challenges requiring efficient delivery of goods in humanitarian logistics, which involves planning, implementing, and controlling the flow of material to alleviate suffering. Optimization, transport, storage, handling, and distribution is crucial for enhancing humanitarian operation, while constraints arise from a limited vehicle and facility capacity. Additionally, the overlooked aspect of solar cookers' volume impacts their suitability for emergency. A foldable solar cooker prototype has recently been developed. It's currently pending a patent approval. This innovative prototype is designed using lightweight and accessible materials, making it portable and easy to transport to various humanitarian settings. During testing, the prototype demonstrated its capability to bring half liter of water to boiling points in just 80 minutes, while also reaching the maximum temperature of 100 degrees Celsius. However, further experimentation and testing are required to thoroughly evaluate and characterize its performance. In this study, the aim is to conduct various tests on different days, examining different parameters to comprehensively assess the prototype effectiveness. Additionally, the study provides a detailed account of the prototype design and construction. This figure shows the two-dimensional assemblies of the prototype. The prototype consists of a trapezium-shaped cooking chamber with the volumes of 0.02 meter cube, covered by 2 mm thick glass on the top and right side surface, and the wooden panel on the remaining surface. The cooking chamber uses a black pot enclosed with tempered glass instead of a black absorber. The prototype includes two equal-sized aluminum reflector panels to reflect solar radiation towards the cooking chamber. One reflector is positioned on the left side, while the second reflector is connected to the base of the cooking chamber on the right side of the cooker. The figure shows the schematic diagram of the prototype and the four area elements used to calculate the aperture area. The aperture area refers to the projection of the prototype's outer edge onto a plane perpendicular to the sun's ray. During testing, minimal variation was observed in the angles of left and right reflector panel, which are angle beta 1 and beta 2, and the sun's elevation angle alpha. The aperture area calculation is based on this average value and the defined parameters of the prototype. Thus, the total aperture area is equal to 0.286 meters square. The fabrication process involved cutting two identical trapezoidal rectangular wooden panels as well as two rectangular tempered glass window and reflector panels. The solar cooker cutting components were assembled as shown in the figure. The bottom panel was attached to the left panel using a hinge, allowing for easy foldings of the device. The cooking chamber was constructed by placing the trapezoidal wooden panel vertically at the front and back of the bottom panel and covering the space within two tempered glass pieces joined with the hinge. The left side wooden panel support was attached to the back of the left wooden panel using a hinge to resist wind loads and align the left reflector panel with the sun positions. Supporters were positioned at the back of the right and the left side of the reflector panel of the prototype. The folded prototype shown in the figure fits in a volume with the given millimeter dimensions and has a net weight of 7 kg. Based on the European standard for the given aero single pellet size, it can hold 1500 kg of weight and has the maximum height limit for the load of 2.2 meters. Thus, taking all these constraints into account, an aero pilot can transport around 124 pieces of the prototype to the humanitarian or refugee camps. This is the experimental setup of the test. The tests were performed using the black cooking pot with a glass enclosure. The experimental tests were conducted without load and with a load. T-type thermocouple were used to measure the temperature of the air, the maximum temperature of the black pot, and also the fluid temperature. This is an experimental test were conducted on this location with the given parameter. During the test, the ambient air temperature were recorded between 20 degrees Celsius to 35 degrees Celsius, and the direct normal irradiance were recorded between 700 to 1100 watt per meter square. The cooking parameter were determined with the range of 40 degrees Celsius to 90 degrees Celsius for the water load test and 40 to 105 degrees Celsius for the glycerin load test. The orientation and angle of the cooker reflector were adjusted every 15 minutes by observing the reflector radius that reaches to the black cooking pot. These are parameters to characterize the prototype. The direct normal solar irradiance was measured using a pyrheliometer installed on the solar tracker. The global normal solar irradiance was calculated using the Leo Jordan isentropic sky model with an albedo of 0.2. Here we use the new mathematical model equation to analyze the standard cooking power at 50 degrees Celsius temperature difference and the core value, which was derived by Rubo. Here, 3 tests without load were performed under various environmental conditions. The obtained results are reported in table. The maximum temperature of the black pot covered by the glass enclosure is associated global normal radiance, and ambient temperature were measured during the test. In the test of 16 May 2022, the result revealed that the maximum temperature of the black pot was 149 degrees Celsius. This maximum temperature corresponds to the global normal solar irradiance, which is equal to 935 watt per meter square, and its ambient air temperature around 29 degrees Celsius. The results of water load tests are summarized in this table. 7 tests with the glass enclosure were performed using 1 kg of water. As shown on a table, the repeater tests were conducted on the same day due to longer sunshine hour. The result shows that on July 13, test 2, the shortest time was recorded and took 94 minutes to reach the temperature of water, 90 degrees Celsius from 40 degrees Celsius. On the test of 29 July, the boiling temperature of water was reached after the longest time of 127 minutes, with the least average global normal solar irradiance and an average ambient air temperature. In addition to characterize the cooking time of the test, the optical thermal ratio and the maximum temperature of the fluid and cooking power were determined. As shown in the table, theoretical maximum temperature of the prototype was 122 degrees Celsius on 13 July test, and the average value of optical thermal ratio, which is equal to 0.09, which is almost similar to all water load tests. The figure plots cooking power curve as a function of the temperature difference for water, includes linear regression curve associated with the cooking power and standard cooking power, along with the corresponding values of temperature difference. The cooking power and standard cooking power at 50 degrees Celsius temperature difference between the fluid temperature and ambient temperature were determined according to the new approach for standardized cooking power calculation presented by Ruvo. All plots on these power curve figures were calculated within time interval of 5 minutes. During the glycerin load, 4 tests with a pot equipped with a glass enclosure were conducted. The table presents a summary of results obtained from the experiments. The recorded data indicates that the shortest time to attain the target temperature of 105 degrees Celsius was achieved in the test conducted on 19 July. The result of the glycerin load test similarly displayed a concave pattern of a temperature for all experiments, despite the fluctuations in ambient temperature and global normal irradiance. This trend was consistent with the observation made during the water load test. Also, the glycerin load test, the maximum temperature of the glycerin, the standard cooking power, and optical thermal ratio were calculated as shown on a table. The table also showed that the theoretical maximum temperature of the prototype was 131.9 degrees Celsius, that is recorded in the 19th July. Similar to water load test, this figure plots cooking power curve as a function of temperature difference for the glycerin test on 19th July. It displays linear regression curves corresponding to the cooking power and the standard cooking power with associated values of temperature difference and its standard temperature difference. The cooking power was calculated using water procedures with the 5-minute time interval. I conclude this presentation that the trapezoidal cooking chamber and an adjustable reflector panel coupled with a simple, efficient, and easy to transport design makes the solar cooker ideal for use in remote and underserved communities, including humanitarian and refugee camps. Not only does it demonstrate effectiveness in cooking food and boiling water, but its ease of mass production, compactness, and portability also contributed to the versatility and practical in outdoor settings. Furthermore, it emphasized the potential for widespread adoption of solar energy for cooking purposes, particularly in developing countries and refugee camps, where access to reliable cooking methods is crucial. Thank you for your attention. If you have any questions, comments, and suggestions, please welcome.